That view right there is pretty much what we've had during a weather delay. They were expecting some rain. It sprinkled for a couple of minutes, but that was it. The sun's been out, and we will get going here in a couple of minutes as 33-year-old left-hander Tsuyoshi Wada will make his major league debut tonight. Chatting with Now Masamoto, Cubs video coordinator, who is interpreting tonight.
Yeah, high fives all the way around. Club in a little bit of a funk, having dropped 4 in a row, so they can rally behind Wada as he makes his major league debut after about a 40-minute non-rain delay.
David Holmberg will make his Reds debut. Made one appearance last year for the Arizona Diamondbacks, so both guys by rule will have to go back to the minor leagues after this game tonight. Cincinnati winning earlier this afternoon 4-2. 3 of their runs came in the opening inning off former Red Travis Wood, as the Reds take the field behind the young lefty Holmberg. Let's get the Cubs Southwest starting lineup written out by manager Ricky Renteria. Cubs trying to end a 4-game losing streak, 4-4 on the road trip. Junior Lake snapped an 0-for-20 with a pinch hit single in the 9th inning of Game 1. Justin Ruggiano's been the hottest Cub hitter. He's at .295 on the year. Rizzo trying to make the All-Star team and joins Starlin Castro. Wellington Castillo catches. Mike Oltz at third. Chris Coughlin has had a terrific series. Darwin Barney's at second, and the pitcher Wada bats 9th.
Let's take a look at the Reds defensively. It's brought to you by Kia. The speedster Billy Hamilton in center. He's got Schumacher on one side, Ludwig on the other. Infield Frazier, Cozart, Phillips. Jay Bruce gets his second start at first base. He was there last night. Made an error, didn't look all that comfortable. Solid defensive backstop in young Tucker Barnhart. And the Lexus starting pitcher for the Reds tonight, David Holmberg. Holmberg, 22 years of age. And out of Louisville, he did not post good numbers. 0-4 with a .528. Better lately. Considered among the Diamondbacks' top pitching prospects the last couple of seasons. Came over here in a 3-way deal. It sent Ryan Hannigan to the Tampa Bay Rays. Not a hard thrower. Real good changeup.
And the umpires for Game 2, Andy Fletcher will work the plate. He did not work Game 1. Mark Wegner, Mike Malinsky, and Toby Basner around the bases. And if tonight's Cubs leadoff man gets a hit, Benny's Beverage Depot will donate $100 to JDRF.
I was going to say Holmberg only made 10 starts down at AAA. He was on the disabled list twice with the shoulder tendonitis.
So here we go. Junior Lake swings and sends a high drive foul. One-run distance, but he pulled it too much. Official rain delay 35 minutes.
It was a threat of rain delay. It might have spit for 30 seconds, and that was it. Right now, beautiful.
80 degrees. And the pitch to Lake. Popped into center. This is Billy Hamilton for the first out. Now the red-hot Justin Ruggiano hitting .463 over his last 11 games. The Cubs have not yet won a game involving a doubleheader. They're 0-5. Got swept by the Yankees in New York in April. Recently on the last homestand by the Nationals in a day-nighter, and Dropped the 4-2 decision earlier today. Change up outside. 2-1. Holmberg looks like he wants to get it and throw it.
Works from the third base side of the rubber. Throws across his body a little bit.
.6'3", 225 from Port Charlotte, Florida. And a base hit. Ruggiano stays hot. Here's Anthony Rizzo, 1 for 8 in the series. The one hit was a home run last night.
Holmberg, originally drafted in the second round by the White Sox in 2009, was traded to the Diamondbacks the next year in a deal that sent Edwin Jackson the other way.
That gets by Barnhart and allows Ruggiano to get to second. It's a wild pitch.
Barnhart, excuse me, has a very good reputation defensively. Not able to keep that one in front. Should have been able to. RBI chance for Rizzo.
2-0. It's always fun to look at major league players and pitchers and what their numbers were in high school. The 2-0 to Rizzo, line and caught by Schumacher. Contact, but he almost hit it too well. Senior year in high school, Port Charlotte High. Holmberg went 7-0 with a 0.22 ERA.
Give up 2 runs all year or something like that?
Probably. Strike on the All-Star. Starlin Castro for 11 over his last 3 games. So he's due. Holmberg's numbers at AAA not very good this year, but pitching pretty well as of late. And you mentioned a couple of DL stints due to shoulder tendonitis. Gave up a lot of hits, 60 hits in just over 44 innings. It's Ruggiano at second. 2 outs. We're just underway after a 35-minute delay prior to game 2. Swing and a miss. Out in front and over the top as he pulled the string.
That made one major league start last year with the Diamondbacks. Spent the rest of the year at AA. So this is the first year he has pitched at the AAA level. Last year 5-8 with a 275 in AA, and you see the last 6 starts he's pitched to a 174 earned run average.
That was a really good changeup for strike 2. Fastball low. Looks like a good crowd gathered here for the nightcap. And the 2-2 delivery hit on the ground to the shortstop Cozart. And the Cubs do not score in the first against the young southpaw. Well, a quote veteran southpaw next. Have a lot of experience in Japan. Tsuyoshi Iwata will face this red Southwest starting lineup. Billy Hamilton has been a force in this series. Brandon Phillips, you see after Todd Frazier. Jay Bruce will play first for the second time in his career and second time already in the series. Ludwig, Schumacher, Cozart, and the battery 8 and 9, Barnhart and Holmberg.
How about the Cubs defensively? Brought to you by Kia, Coughlin, and Ruggiano, with Blake in the middle. Old Castro, Barney Rizzo, third to first. Wellington Castillo behind the plate. Lexus starting pitcher, Tsuyoshi Iwata. Finesse left-hander, sitting in the upper 80s, maybe 90, 91, but not going to throw it by you. Glittering numbers down at Iowa this year, 9-5 with a 2.66 ERA. Very consistent from one start to the next. Solid stuff. Better than a strikeout per inning pitch. The walk numbers way down. He allowed 10 home runs.
Nine seasons for Fukuoka SoftBank Hawks of the Pacific League in Japan. Tommy John surgery in 2012. That was as a result of an injury in his first spring training with Baltimore in 2012. So he's a guy we've heard about for a while, but had not pitched in the big leagues before this upcoming first pitch to Billy Hamilton.
Yeah, Orioles signed him to a 2-year deal for a little over $8 million, thinking that he'd be a back end of the rotation guy for them, but immediately got hurt. Had surgery. Never did pitch in the big leagues with Baltimore. Cubs signed him this winter. Did not pitch well in spring training. Actually got released and then re-signed by the Cubs.
Here's the 1-0 to Hamilton. Cut and a miss. If you're wondering if Wada's the oldest Cub to make his debut, not even close. Chang Yong Lim last year on September 7th was 37 years old, the oldest debut in the big leagues for the Cubs since 1901. Two and one on Hamilton. First two games of the series, he got on his first at bat and scored in the first inning. 3-1.
That 4-pitch walk in game one of the series, and a bunt earlier today, and a 3-1 fastball. Might be just taking all the way here.
Ball 4. He's done some damage in this series. That's how he started the game against Travis Wood today. The steals in game 1, too.
Once he gets on, it's off to the races. Double into the corner. Steals third base. Bases cleared and triple in the ball game last night.
And Wada will check on him. And with Todd Frazier at the plate. Found out today Todd Frazier will be in the home run derby next Monday. First time All-Star. He might not win it, but he might hit the longest home run, as you said.
Yeah,
at some point he hits him a long way.
He sure does. He got one off Samardzija here last year, up on top of the steamboat out there. Not on top of it, but way up.
Did you say that today, or was it last night?
I don't know. That's the thing.
I know you said it.
It's all.
It doesn't matter when, I guess.
Run together now.
Double play ball. The flip, the turn.
All right, no chance for Billy Hamilton to steal a base now. Not the best of flips from Castro to Barney, but they got the job done. Sharply hit. And it gooses it over there a little bit, but plenty of time for Barney to turn and throw and get Frazier.
By the way, we had a long discussion about the neighborhood play. A controversial play last night, Braves and Mets. It was determined it was not the neighborhood play. If Darwin Barney had not been on the bag there, that would have been considered the neighborhood play. So we've had some people tweet us, what is the neighborhood play? As Phillips takes ball 1 low. So right here, for instance, if he had pulled his foot off just a little early, that's not something they would have reviewed, because that's just kind of considered part of doing business.
Yeah, but if an errant throw pulls him off the base,
correct,
then that's reviewable.
Yeah, if he had pulled off the bag to go get the throw, that's not the neighborhood play. But anything on the bag that he's essentially trying to get out of the way of the runner on a routine double play turn, they call that the neighborhood play. And by the way, Freddie Gonzalez still is not convinced they got it right. There was comments earlier today. I do think MLB is going to have to address it again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And maybe do what you suggested, get rid of that neighborhood play altogether. Just force guys to touch the base.
A novel idea.
2-1 on Phillips. Oh, 2-2.
He throws kind of a split forky kind of pitch, does Wada. Here's the play Len was talking about. You watch Andrelton Simmons covering second base here. Let's see. Originally called out because of the quote-unquote neighborhood play. Terry Collins, the Mets manager, went out and said, wait a minute, that's not the neighborhood play. He came off the base to try to gain an advantage because it was going to be a bang-bang play there.
And the umpires ultimately agreed with him. So Wada, in his first major league inning, works around the leadoff walk. After an inning, 0-0.
Next homestand, the Cubs celebrate the 1960s with festivities that include music, food, and giveaways from that decade. For more information about the year-long celebration, visit WrigleyField100.com. The Cubs have the Braves in. It's a little three-gamer prior to the All-Star break. It starts on Friday. Cubs.com for your tickets.
Inning number 2, game number 2. Wellington Castillo batting 5th in the Cubs lineup. Playing leadoff man here in the 2nd. 1 of 5 in the series. Holmberg's pitch fouled back to the edge of the screen. Holmberg had committed to the University of Florida before being taken by the White Sox in the 2nd round, and a signing bonus of a little over $500,000.
Imagine a lot of conversations going on in that Cubs dugout as they get their first look at him. All right, where do you throw you? Can you see the ball out of his hand? What's it look like? Does he sink it? Does he cut it?
Curveball for strike 3.
A sneak attack here as he drops this big old curveball over the outside part of the plate for strike 3 on Castillo.
Holmberg was in the Midwest League back in 2011. He had a stretch of 34 consecutive scoreless innings. But then he got promoted, and he was unable to go after the Midwest League record of 42 straight scoreless innings.
Who's got that, Don?
Mark Grant.
Oh, Mud. Well, you got to protect Mud's record.
The 2-1. Hitters count for Mike Olt, 3-1.
Mike Olt, I would not count on a fastball here. Doesn't mean he won't throw one, but guys like Holmberg, they make a living by throwing changeups and fastball counts.
The pitch. Close.
Sinker just missed.
Football 4. So Olt, who walked against the closer Aroldis Chapman in the opener. 2 plate appearances today, 2 walks.
Just a wee bit low. A keen eye. And a 1-out walk.
Coghlan 5 for 8, 2 doubles, a homer, has scored 3 times already in the series. Olt's going to hold. Kind of funky shadows as a batter looks at the pitcher. The shadow, his shadow rather, right in front of home plate.
You can check his stance, make sure his hands are in the right place.
Drives this one out into deep right. Schumacher back at the wall. He leaps. It is gone. A 2-run homer. Chris Coghlan giving the Cubs the early lead.
Chris Coghlan has turned into Roy Hobbs here lately. He's having one good at-bat after another. 4 hits in the ball game last night. Went deep in game 1, and for good measure, it was deep in game 2. That's number 4. There's your Ford home run replay. Holmberg knew it, kicked the dirt as soon as contact was made. Schumacher, though, with a spirited effort, comes up just a little bit short.
Big hug for the hitting coach, Bill Miller. So Ricky Renteria riding the hot hand. Coughlin in there against the lefty Holmberg and comes through. And then his first at bat.
Yeah, he's hitting 400 and change over the last 10 days or so.
1-1 on Barney. Here's a pitch. That one drilled out into left center. Ludwig able to knock it down, but Barney will have a double.
Early run support for Wada. Now he's got a chance to help himself. Barney in a little discomfort, perhaps. Good tight turn to first base. He's thinking double out of the box as soon as he sees this ball headed towards the alley in left center field.
There's Wada, 3 out of 24 at AAA. Not too many at bats in his time in Japan. Went 4 for 39 in his career there. Now the bunting spot with 1 out, and Barney already in scoring position. Chokes up on the bat. 2-0. On the pitcher.
Holmberg's stress level starting to rise right now. Second major league start, first one with a new club. Just giving up a home run. Now he falls behind the opposing pitcher 3-0.
That one missed badly, and he just walked the pitcher.
Yeah, now he's got the home crowd a little hostile, booing him here. Tough too for a finesse guy. You know, when you first come into the big leagues, got a lot of nerves, and you tend to want to nibble a little bit. You're facing big league hitters. You're not sure if your stuff is good enough. Power guys, you know, if they're off their game, they can still just get you out with their stuff. If they're throwing 97, 96 miles an hour with movement, even if they're making mistakes, they've got a much better chance of being successful than a guy like Holmberg, who has to really locate.
So Jeff Pico with some words of advice for Holmberg. First and second, it's Junior Lake.
I don't think the Reds should be allowed any mound visits tonight.
Really?
Yes, we sat through a 45-minute non-rain delay. That should be their fine. Sorry. No mound visits for you guys tonight.
Barney at second, Wada at first, and the pitch to Lake. Ball 1. Pinch hit single off Chapman in the opener. That ended in 0 for 20. And Lake in the leadoff spot here for game 2. High drive the other way. Schumacher will have room. In front of the warning track as Barney tags and heads to third. 2 outs. now strike on Ruggiano. Jose Altuve, by the way, has just stolen his 40th base of the year. He's got more steals than Billy Hamilton. It's because he has a lot of hits.
Yeah, he's up over 120 base hits.
125. And 27 in a row. Little tapper. Holmberg will pick it up to end the inning. Chris Coghlan is homered in both ends of the doubleheader today. The latest giving the Cubs a 2-0 lead.
Lead 2-0. Reds are coming to bat in the bottom of the second. Check out the Wrigley Field 100 collection at Cubs Authentics, from game used throwback jerseys and Wrigley Field 100 baseballs to autographed items from your favorite alumni and Hall of Famers. Cubs Authentics has the most exclusive memorabilia to commemorate 100 years at Wrigley Field. Visit Cubs.com/authentics all season long for updates on the newest game used and autographed items. Who knows what you'll find there?
Tsuyoshi Wada, there you have it. 9 seasons in Japan. Pretty much exclusively as a starter with a few exceptions in relief. Signed with Baltimore, but then had elbow reconstruction and inked a minor league deal with the Cubs prior to spring training this year. And working with a 2-0 lead as he faces Bruce, Ludwig, and Schumacher.
We saw Wada in spring training over in Vegas against the Mets, and he got rocked. Just about everything he threw up there, they hit hard.
But as you said, once the regular season started with Iowa, he's been consistently good. Well, he's hoping to continue that here tonight. Got to be careful with Bruce. He's homered in 3 straight games, all against lefties. Reds finally pulled the trigger and put Joey Votto on the DL before game 1 today with the strained quad. Second time this year he's been out. Todd Frazier played first in the opener. It's Bruce here tonight. 50 homers off lefties in the last 5 years. That's 10 per year.
It's good math.
Pujols with 45. That's 9 per season.
9 with 45 divided by that. And when you do the home runs per at bat, he's not far down that list either. He doesn't lead in that category, but he's among the leaders. Pretty impressive. The lefty slugger. Again, talked about him in the open a little bit. He doesn't hit for a high average against left-handed pitching, but the power numbers are there for him. Doesn't change his game. Left-handed hitters will tell you it's all about keeping that front shoulder in.
Sharply hit grounder, picked up by Barney, and he'll throw him out. Bring up Ryan Ludwig. Wada born in Izumo, Japan.
Izumo?
I-Z-U-M-O. I've never been to Japan, so I'm unfamiliar with it. But according to Wikipedia, it is known for Izumo soba noodles in the Izumo Kaisha Shinto Shrine. Have you been to Japan?
No, I have not.
I'd love to go. Maybe the Cubs will play there one of these years again.
That's a good idea.
2000 to play the Mets. 1-1. Blowing outside.
I think that's the fork ball, fork splitty kind of pitch. That's his primary change of speeds. Needs to start it on the plate a little bit more. Get the hitter to bite.
Into the left field corner. And bangs it off the wall. A little slip out there by Coughlin. Wouldn't have mattered. It's a double. And it's the Reds' first hit. One out double here in the second.
Ludwig did not play game one. Chris Heisey did and had a really nice day. And this ball blistered. That little top spin hooking action. That's what keeps it in the ballpark. Coughlin in hot pursuit blows a tire. That one's right down Vine Street.
Skip Schumacher playing right. Fastball at 90, but outside for ball one. Kick, the pitch, curve, strike.
So Wada here in game two. Beeler tomorrow. Hendricks Thursday. So it's audition time for these guys. The rotation spots of Samardzija and Ham will have to be filled. Chance for these guys to come up. Wada's got to go right back down because he's the 26th man. But clearly this is an opportunity to show what he can do as Cubs contemplate what they're going to do in the second half of the year with this rotation.
Yeah, so you're right. Wada tonight, Beeler, Hendricks, Dan Straley might get an opportunity at some point. The 2-1 pitch. Fly to left. Coughlin over near the line, and he'll make the grab with Ludwig retreating to second.
For Beeler, it's a callback. He's already had one audition, and he was good, so now he's coming back in. See if he gets the part.
Cozart batting seventh ahead of the catcher Barnhart. Line for a base hit. Ludwig chugging around third. He's going to be held by Steve Smith. Blake with an aggressive play out there in shallow center. As that ball was hit hard, he got to it quickly and keeps Ludwig from scoring.
Yeah, Ludwig doesn't run well. Smith goes down the line to get a read. I'm a little surprised with 2 outs that he didn't send him there. Junior Lake, the scouting report on Junior Lake is that he does not have a real accurate arm. I mean, the timing of the play would justify a stop sign when Junior got to the ball and where Ludwig was given his speed. But with 2 outs and where they are in the batting order, I'm surprised he didn't send him. In the ball game yesterday, Smith was conservative, and I thought he was right every time. There's 2 or 3 different opportunities he had to send guys, and I thought he played it just right. And he got a guy thrown out at home in the first game on a great relay throw from Barney.
Barnhart's a switch hitter, and he swings and misses. Might have seen Bryant Pena here in game 2, but he's got some forearm soreness. Tucker Barnhart, as you mentioned, known for his defense, won a Rawlings Gold Glove in the minors 3 years ago. And he bats with 2 on and 2 down, and quickly 0-2.
Switch hitter. The scouts like his swing from the other side of the plate better.
He was on their opening day roster because Devin Mesoraco was on the DL. Reds like to run, but so far, I mean, Waddle left-handed, looks like he's got a quick move to the plate.
For years, it was Corky Miller was the guy. The third catcher, the guy who was on that shuttle between AAA and the big leagues.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think if you go on Waddle like most left-handers, you just got to go on first move and hope you guess right. Try to read it and then break. You're not going to get a good enough jump. I'm with you. What was that one? Well, we're going to find out. It was outside. Andy Fletcher, the home plate umpire, remains perfect.
You jinxed him.
Two-strike expansion with the bounce. Close enough to get Barnhart to chase. Pitcher Holmberg's on deck. I have no idea whether he can hit or not. I'm going to go with no.
159 in the minors in his career.
That's good.
Terrible.
Yeah, no, that's good.
Going in. First they're going over. Bounce back to the pitcher. Nice play by Wada. He'll underhand flip to Rizzo, and the Reds strand a couple after 2. It's the Cubs 2 and the Reds nothing. On the mound as the White Sox take on the Red Sox from historic Fenway Park. Sox and Sox tomorrow at 6 o'clock on Comcast Sportsnet. I think the Sox are going to win that one.
I like the Sox. I'm going to put money on the Sox.
And the White Sox lead again tonight. Bottom of the fourth, 3-0 at Fenway. Behind John Danks. Here it's 2-zip Cubs. Rizzo, Castro, Castillo against the lefty Holmberg.
Rizzo hit it on the screws first time up. A line out to right field. Oh for 3 plus a walk in the opener.
Wild one going on in Detroit. Justin Verlander got booed in the first inning as he gave up 5 runs to the Dodgers, but then the Tigers came back with 5 in the second.
He got booed?
He got booed.
Wow.
And now Detroit leads 6-5 in the third.
Seems like he would be boo-proof.
Rizzo, a towering drive deep to right, and it is way out of here. Number 19. 3-0.
That was large. And a big smile as he heads towards third base to get congratulations from Gary Jones. So he does this time what he did not do last time. Last time he hit it hard but out of line. This time he gets airborne. Man, look at that swing. Big high finish.
That was a changeup that didn't do much except travel a long way.
It changed directions on impact.
Well, Rizzo went into the day tied for second in the National League with 18 homers. That's his 19th. Giancarlo Stanton leading the way with 21. And as you see below the score, you can vote for Anthony Rizzo for the All-Star game. $2-0 on Castro. 3-0 on a couple of homers. And a line drive base hit. Castro with his first knock in 4 games. Good to see the offense coming through here early.
Yeah, well, Johnny Cueto just completely shut down the middle of the Cubs order in game 1. 3, 4, 5, 6 in the batting order. Hitless. Rizzo's walk in the 8th, the only man to reach out of that quartet.
Homer and a single to start this third inning. Two. Won the first 4 on this trip. They've dropped their last 4. Broken bat, fly ball to left. Hauled in by Ludwig.
Not that Castro is the man for the job, but with Jay Bruce over there at first base and a lefty on the mound, wouldn't be a bad idea to get a big one-way lead. Go on first move, hoping that he comes over and see if Bruce can make a play. I mean, Jay Bruce is playing his second professional game at first base, and when you're playing a new position, you tend to want to do things in a hurry.
Michael to deep left. That ball will go. 2-run shot. 5-0.
Or he could just stay put and jog around the bases when the guy hits one into the seats, which is probably the more prudent strategy given the fact that Holmberg has no answers for the Cubs right now.
That's his 12th of the year.
Patient first time up, worked the walk and scored. This time an ambush for the home run replay. Number 12 for Mike Holt. He's shown some positive signs here lately. How much of a beatdown does Brian Price let his young left-hander take here tonight?
Looks like the World Cup semifinal we watched earlier.
How about that? What was that? Ended up 7-1.
Germany over Brazil. Five goals in the first 29 minutes.
It'd be like scoring 25 runs in a baseball game, wouldn't it?
That's what it felt like. A 2-1 on the way. It's on the outside corner. Coghlan, Rizzo, Holt have all gone deep. Only in the third inning. So here's the note. Chris Coghlan, the first Chicago Cub to hit a home run in both games of a doubleheader since Alfonso Soriano in 07 in St. Louis. And the last Cub to do it here in Cincinnati was Ron Santo back in 1965. Payoff delivery. Ball 4.
Cozart in from short, Barnard out, and Phillips as well as Contreras continues to heat up in the pen.
Cozart was dropping you're one pitch away. Maybe a future pitching coach.
Yeah, pretty good stuff there. Could be one pitch away from an inning-ending double play. Could be one pitch away from backing up third. Deliver reminds me a little bit of Dallas Keuchel.
Okay.
And Keuchel not an overpowering guy either, and he had his struggles when he first came to the big leagues. Now he's on that final ballot for the American League All-Star team.
59 pitches and counting, and he's only recorded 7 outs. Cued off the end of the bat, nobody covering first. Now Holmberg gets over there, but Barney's going to beat him. Infield hit, Darwin Barney.
They say when it rains, it pours. It didn't rain during the rain delay, but it's pouring down pretty hard on Holmberg right now. Nothing going his way. Giving up a lot of long balls and now a little ground ball. Some indecision on the part of the inexperienced first baseman there, Jay Bruce. Holmberg a little late getting over. Barney beats him to the bag.
By Price coming out, but it looked like Barney got there. And no replay challenge. Throw to second. Barnhart trying to help his pitcher here by picking off a runner, but that's a long throw to second. The bunt. And the throw will go to first. Wada does a nice job.
Here comes Brian Price. And that'll do it for the young left-hander.
So rough ride tonight for the young left-hander. Cubs knocking him out here in the 3rd inning. It's 5-0, a pitching change from Cincinnati.
He was 2-1 with a 270. He had good strikeout numbers, and he was hard to hit. Now here, he's only pitched 2 innings. He's been here for a little while, though. He was called up on June 21st. But obviously, he's not had a lot of action out of that Cincinnati bullpen. pitched on June 21st against Toronto, and then on July 1st against San Diego. So if you were a little rusty, you could forgive him.
Second and third, 2 outs. 3 runs in on a couple of homers this inning.
Slings it up there at 94. Also has a curveball and a changeup.
A 1-0 on the way, and Lake could not hold the 1-1.
Tough to be patient if you're Junior Lake in this situation. He is in a pretty good funk here. He hasn't had many good things happen for him in the batter's box. He's got a chance to drive in 2 runs. Having said that, going after pitches way out of the strike zone is never a good idea.
Popped up, and Lake just shattered his bat as he slammed it to the dirt. Cozart makes the catch, and the inning is over, but the Cubs add to their lead. It's now 5-0 in the third. Using hashtag Northside Fan Photo for a chance to have it appear later in tonight's broadcast, brought to you by AT&T. Still early, we're only in the third inning, but the Cubs leading 5-0, trying to snap a 4-game skid. And Tyoshi Wada in his big league debut with a nice cushion here. You never have enough runs in this ballpark, however.
No, sir. Keep the pedal to the metal. Those power stacks, they call them out there, those smoke stacks.
Yeah.
Those bats on top. There's 7 on each of those. 7 plus 7 is 14. That was Pete Rose's number.
Is that why?
Pete. Yeah, that's what I've been told.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I didn't know that. Here's the pitcher Contreras. Just came into the ball game and takes a strike.
Is that right, Audrey? Is that right? The bats, 7 bats for each 14 Pete Rose. Yeah, we got confirmation.
Foul tip. 0-2. First major league plate appearance for Contreras. Swing and a miss, strike 3. First career strikeout for Wada.
Wada, despite not being a hard thrower, looks like he's a guy who likes to elevate the fastball. Some deception in his delivery, and as long as you stay out of the happy zone, that mid-thigh one that guys jump all over, you can go below it, you can go well above it and have some success.
Hamilton walked to start the bottom of the first, but quickly eliminated on a double play ball.
Everything he does is quick.
Two strikes on Hamilton. Line to left. Coghlan on the move. Makes the grab. Frazier in the home run derby. Anthony Rizzo is not, even though he has more home runs. 19 to Frazier's 17.
They're tweaking that a little bit this year, right?
Yeah.
Changing the format some.
Yes. It's the 20th home run derby. Round 1. 10 participants, 5 for each league. We'll alternate. Number 1 for the NL, then number 1 for the AL. We'll go down the order. It's 7 outs each. Do you want to know all these things? Player from each league who hits the most homers. You ask. Homers goes to round 3 automatically. The next 2 participants with the most home runs go to round 2.
So where Miguel Cabrera begged off.
Yeah, it's kind of complicated.
Well, and then there's goal differential, whether you advance into the next round or not.
Right. Strength of schedule, the whole deal. Yeah.
A little more giddy up on that heater. 92 that time from Wada. Made Frazier move his feet a little bit. So now we have to determine whether they want to go splitter away or maybe double up inside with a fastball. Well, he wanted heater away. And Wada wants a splitter. Forky thing. Change up.
Call! Barney! What a snag!
Look at the look on Wada's face.
Hope he didn't blow out his shoulder.
Oh my, what a play.
Gold Glover 2 years ago. That is a beauty.
Yes, sir.
Fourth inning, all Cubs here in the nightcap through 3, leading 5-zip. Contreras to Ruggiano. That one got away from the right-hander.
Darwin Barney doing what Darwin Barney does, a spectacular play, and I love the reaction by Wada. Hey, this is fun with big leaguers making plays behind you.
Just glad his left arm's still attached. Looked like he landed awkwardly on that shoulder on the extension. 2-0 to Ruggiano, 1 for 2 already. Contreras from the stretch. And it's high. It's 3-0. Leadoff walk. Now Rizzo.
Oh my goodness.
That hit the bat, not him?
That ball hit him in the front of the leg. We've seen him in the back leg a couple times. Didn't it?
I think it hit him, yeah. I don't think it hit his bat at all.
Yeah, hit him in the hip, left hip. I mean, his hands are in the strike zone. And they pitch him in, so he's trying to get out early to get in front of it.
Ruggiano tagging, but he's going to hold.
That's at least the 3rd time this year Anthony's been hit by a pitch that he swings at. There's not a whole lot of room between that big body and the inside corner.
I mean, there aren't too many guys who stand that close to home plate. Breaking ball catches the outside edge on Castro. Single and a run in the 3rd. Runner goes. The pitch is off the plate in, and Ruggiano gets second without a throw. First steal of the year. Had 15 last year with Miami, but just the first as a Cub. Cubs batters have consistently been in favorable counts here in this ball game tonight, and they've taken full advantage.
Yeah, Castro might come out of his shoes right here. He's been hammering fastballs this year, and he's likely to get one here.
He does, and he sends one high and deep, but I think it might stay in. Hamilton drifting back, and he makes a nice catch up against the padding. Ruggiano back to second.
Yeah,
would have been close at second. Here comes Bryant Price.
He went in very tentatively. I think he got back okay, but Price is going to come out and buy some time for his people to look at the replay. Castro just got under this one a little bit, gave it a ride. Hamilton, a tremendous center fielder, despite the fact he's an inexperienced center fielder. Shortstop for most of his professional career. Almost got caught.
Let's see. Looked like he was just in. And no challenge. So 2 outs in the inning. Ball 1 on Castillo.
Must have been a little low. It's a pretty good looking pitch. See if Castillo could take advantage. Again, another hitter's count. Well, you got a young pitcher coming in after another young pitcher got rocked, so he's probably a little tentative. Like, man, I can't challenge these guys. They're knocking the ball out of the ballpark one after another.
Contreras 5'11", 207, signed back in 08 out of the Dominican Republic from Santo Domingo. Into the season, their number 7 prospect according to Baseball America, and a strike, 3-1.
Yeah, they got a pitcher by the name of Robert Stevenson, a right-hander. The scouts love.
Middle name Lewis?
I think so.
Billy Hamilton was their number 2 prospect.
Yeah, behind Stevenson.
Tucker Barnhart in the top 10.
Understandable that Contreras would be a little off his game here tonight, as we mentioned when he first came in. He hasn't pitched much. You know, sitting out in that bullpen.
Fouled back.
You mentioned Verlander giving it up tonight. Julio Teheran also getting knocked around. 3 1/3, 11 hits, 5 runs by the Mets off Teheran tonight. Despite that, still has a .257 earned run average. Jacob deGrom pitching shutout baseball for the Mets.
I think the Cubs will get Teheran on Sunday, right before the break.
deGrom with 10 punch outs at 5 2/3. You saw him at Wrigley. He's good. He's got good stuff.
Ludwig will not have a play. If you just joined us, Cubs dropped a 4-2 decision earlier this afternoon. Johnny Cueto over Travis Wood. Cubs jumping on rookie left-hander David Holmberg early tonight. Coughlin in the second, 2-run homer. Rizzo leadoff homer in the third. Mike Alt, 2-run shot also in the third. Holmberg knocked out after 2 2/3. Ball 4. Second walk of the inning.
.11 pitch at bat. Castillo wins the battle. Contreras not really zeroed in on where he's throwing the ball. He's very vulnerable, and Mike Holt steps up, having walked and homered already tonight.
152 average, but 12 home runs for Alt. Inside corner. Well, what a gorgeous night. Hard to believe we were delayed 35 minutes before the start of Game 2 for anticipated rain that never really showed up.
And the forecast a couple of days ago for today was brutal. So far, I've dodged a bullet.
Bolt gets under one, and that will be out of play. Reds in fairly decent shape. 47 and 42 right now, tied with the Pirates, 4.5 out in the Central. Pretty packed there, and very much in the wild card race too. Hamilton on the move. A couple of nice grabs this inning, and as the Cubs stay off the board in the fourth, but they lead 5-0.
Sunday at Wrigley Field this Sunday, 1:20 ball game with the Braves in town. First 5,000 kids 13 and under will receive a Cubs Etch-a-Sketch. This is the 6 of 10 retro toys. After the ball game, the first 1,000 kids 13 and younger will have the opportunity to run the bases. For more information or to purchase tickets, visit Cubs.com.
Don't miss Loop Fest 2014 featuring Journey and Steve Miller Band with special guest Tower of Power. Great lineup Saturday night at First Midwest Bank Amphitheater in Tinley Park. Tickets on sale now at livenation.com.
What is the Pompitus of love?
It's a great question. Maybe this is the Pompitus of love. Darwin Barney's glove, our Xfinity high-speed action.
Yeah, well, that's a great shot there. You see him in the ready position. You see the quick reaction with the ball off the bat. And then wow, look at that. Big leaguer making a big-time play for me.
Well, if he ever hurts you, Gold Glove won't desert you. Abracadabra. I want to reach out and grab you, he said to that baseball. See, now you got me going.
Yeah. And he made a sparkling play in game 1 too, a relay home. A nail a runner at home plate. Always fun when the Cubs and the Reds get together, and Barney and Phillips are in the lineup. Two of the better defenders in the National League.
Phillips, fly ball down the right field line, out of play. Wada is a 26th man. He'll have to head back to the minors after this one, so he and the Cubs will go their separate ways. Hey, any way you want it, I can. That's the way you need it. Two and one.
My daughter went and saw Joe Pug at Millennium Park last night.
I heard it was great.
One of those pitchers, when you watch him pitch, when he's successful, you say, oh man, this guy's really crafty. Knows how to work the edges, change speeds. When he's getting hit around, you'd say, oh, he's a nibbler. Needs to challenge people.
Swing and a miss, strike 3.
So far tonight, he's been crafty. That time actually overpowering as the elevated fastball gets Phillips. This is the one I was talking about earlier. Not a real hard thrower, but he can be successful up in the strike zone if he keeps it up above the hands a little bit.
If we put Jeff Brantley on the moon, he'd be the space cowboy. Now we're going deep. Cowboys a nickname for JB over there in the Reds radio booth, former big league pitcher. Bruce fouls.
Jeff originally a starter, then made the move to the bullpen, had a very successful career. Out of Mississippi State.
Low, 1-2. Game 3 of a 5-game series. Barring extra innings, we're still not halfway through the series. We will be midway in the 5th. Of course, Lake had to charge in to make that catch.
It seems to me, and I don't have any evidence to support this, but in these split double headers, it's usually a pitcher's game, the second game. You know, the position players taken out of their routine. It's tough to play one game, sit around for a long time, come back and have that edge. Now, clearly Holmberg didn't have that edge today.
Right.
He just wasn't sharp. So you get a team in that mode, and then you get them down early. And it's a real mental challenge for the Reds right now to kind of fight to stay in this thing.
Give the Reds any reason to believe they can come back here tonight. And so far, Wada has kept this offense under wraps. kick and a 1-2. Ground ball that'll be picked up by Starlin Castro to end the inning. Second straight 1-2-3 for Wada in his major league debut. Jake Arrieta is scheduled for the Cubs. We'll start our coverage at 2:30 with Cubs pregame live. It's presented by Fields Auto Group. Braves and Cubs Friday at 2:30 on CSN. Cubs batting in the fifth inning, leading 5-0. Hi, Darwin. Homer and a walk for Coghlan in this one. Huge series. 6 out of 9, 2 doubles, 2 homers. He's got a 9-game hitting streak overall.
Kind of looking like the guy who won the Rookie of the Year award for the Marlins a few years back. He's a high average hitter with occasional power.
His average has gone up 29 points already in the series. Going to finish the first half with a surge.
2009, the National League Rookie of the Year, hit .321 that year, 9 home runs. And a .390 on base percentage. Ouch.
The last thing he needs is something to slow him down.
Chris now 29 years of age. Chance to reestablish himself here this year, and he's doing a nice job. 70 ball games last year with the Marlins, 39 the year before. He's never been able to duplicate the success he had his rookie year.
Sends one in the air out to Ludwig. Another guy off to a really good start here in July, Darwin Barney. 2 more hits tonight. This next homestand, only 3 games against the Braves. It will be the 60s themed series.
Probably a good idea that they made the short homestand in the 60s. Things to get out of hand.
Friday, the Cubs will honor Starlin Castro, get his all-star jersey. That one will squeak into left, and Barney's got 3 hits tonight.
Double infield single, and now this one. Those are with good range. No reason to leave your feet there, because the only chance you have is if you can glove it while upright.
On Sunday, the Cubs and Braves will wear 1969 throwback uniforms. Popped up the bunt attempt. You got to run, Tsuyoshi. Contreras could have dropped that or let it drop because Wada didn't even get out of the box, but instead he caught it. Can't watch it.
Yeah. You got to fight that instinct. You watch it, you want to run out there and knock it down and start all over again. You can't do that. And if Contreras had let the ball drop, they would have gotten a double play.
In fact, he should have dropped it. At the very least, Wada would have replaced Barney at first, but your instincts take over. Comcast Sportsnet presenting Gale Sayers Bobblehead Day on Friday. First 10,000 fans. Saturday, Billy Williams retired number flag day. First 10,000 fans will get that. And then the 60s throwback Cubs Etch-a-Sketch for the first 5,000 kids and 2 TV broadcasters. Sunday, July 13th.
I'm going to try to make a perfect circle with my Etch-a-Sketch.
It's a good challenge. You can do it.
Imagine handing an Etch-a-Sketch to a kid today. You're looking for the button to turn it on.
Gale Sayers will sing the stretch Friday. Thomas Ian Nicholas from the movie Rookie of the Year on Saturday. And Ernie Banks, Billy Williams, Randy Hundley, Rich Nye, Paul Popovich, Ken Rudolph. First pitches in the stretch. And the 60s Cubs. Phillips way out there. He makes the grab. And the inning is over. Midway in the 5th. Cubs 5, Reds nothing.
tell you that Clark, the official team mascot of the Chicago Cubs, can be part of your next event. From charity events, wedding receptions, and birthday parties to grand openings and Little League games, Clark wants to be in on the action. Email Clark directly at clark@cubs.com or visit cubs.com/Clark for more information on how to book Clark for your special event.
I have a feeling the Cubs caravan next January may include a visit from Clark and Addison. Cubs have prospect.
I like it.
In the mix.
Yeah, it's going to be the photo op, right? Clark and Addison.
Trying to get Gary Sheffield to come on over and Hall of Famer Joe Waveland.
Joe Waveland. He can play. I got my money on Giancarlo Stanton in that home run derby.
It's a good call. Fastball to Schumacher, 0-1.
Speaking of home run derbies, that's the storyline here tonight. 3 home runs for the Cubs in support of shutout pitching here for Yoshi Wada, making his major league debut.
We have commented before on the pitching mechanics of guys who come over here from Japan. There's a lot more variation in deliveries of guys from the States and Latin America. That's rolled into center. Usually, not all the time, but guys from the windup from Japan, they got that little pause in the middle of the delivery. And Wada is no exception.
Yeah. Well, he's got this funky little pump, and maybe we can get it on his next shot there that he does at the start, which doesn't really do anything for him. It's just a little idiosyncrasy of his. Next time he's in the full windup, we'll take a look at it. But yeah, most pitchers from Japan have that little stop and go.
Zach Cozart now. And he dumps one foul out of play. So here's a question. And there have been guys who've gone over, obviously, to Japan and pitched from the United States. I haven't seen somebody come back here with different mechanics. But is it not worth studying? And I'm sure it has been studied, the biomechanics of that delivery that's taught in Japan. Since so many guys use it, might it be beneficial to some young pitchers here?
Well, I think there's probably a little bit of deception that's added by the hesitation.
Right.
So if you take a guy whose stuff is maybe a little bit short, and you can experiment with that, he may find some advantage. In terms of delivering the baseball to home plate with more velocity, more accuracy, I don't think there's added value. But the hesitation may just create a little deception, because so much of pitching is upsetting the timing of the hitter.
Yeah. That's high on a fastball. Tweeted out a link to the Sports on Earth story by Dirk Hayhurst. Did you read it about this new sleeve?
I did read that, yes.
Pretty interesting, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Kind of basically what measures how your elbow's doing.
Yeah, it has I don't know, it has all these data collection points. It's a sensor that can takes all kinds of readings, and it'll anticipate when you're starting to get fatigued before you even know it. So it's meant to prevent injury in pitchers.
Three and two the count on Cozart. Here it is. Way out in front, he popped it up. Castillo back to the screen, and it's out of play.
It's a good article. It's really worth reading. And Dirk talks about his own experience and you know, whether he was going to tweak his mechanics,
right?
Because of biomechanical research, saying this is the way you could deliver the ball most cleanly and be most efficient in terms of injury prevention. But are you going to sacrifice deception or something like that? Then, you know, it may keep you healthier, but it doesn't necessarily make you a better pitcher.
Yeah, he said he decided not to do that during his career because he didn't want to overhaul his mechanics, but he said after the fact he now wishes he had.
Yeah, because he feels like injuries cost him at the end of his career. So that's a tough debate for a pitcher, especially if you're a little funky and if you go through some kind of a biomechanical evaluation and the experts tell you, look, if your elbow's a little bit higher and if you do this and you know you're going to stay healthy longer or have a better chance to stay healthy longer. But does it present a different look to the hitter?
The 3-2 bounced foul. This battle rages on. Well, there are a lot of examples, but I mean the stark one for me that really stands out is Dontrelle Willis, who had a real tough time repeating his mechanics, but it's part of what made him so successful for several years with the Marlins about a decade ago. And ultimately his career basically came to an end because he couldn't throw enough strikes, some arm issues, the whole deal. But he had that delivery that you couldn't teach, and it was tough to pick up.
Fernando Valenzuela comes to mind. Which you probably wouldn't teach anybody to pitch like Fernando. But you wouldn't want to change him. That's really the biggest oddity about Fernando's delivery was just that kind of way he would cast his eyes upward, turn his back a little bit towards home plate.
Oh, Johnny Cueto from game 1 today. Pitch number 11 to Cozart, and a base hit. And the Reds with their best threat, even though they're near the bottom of their order. 2 on, nobody out. And back-to-back singles.
Barnhart, the 8-hole hitter, then the pitcher's spot, and looks like Chris Heisey out on deck to pinch hit.
I'm wondering if Brian Price, because he's got a couple of catchers on the bench, might have considered Mesoraco or Pena in this spot, but he's going to stick with the rookie Barnhart. Save those guys for later if they get back into the game. Wada trying to get through this 5th inning, qualified for a win in his big league debut. And the pitch to Barnhart is outside, ball 1.
Yeah, Price probably tempted to use Mesoraco here. I'm not sure if, if Pena's available. He's got that forearm issue, so he didn't start tonight. I don't know if he could come in if need be later on, and it may be that Price just wants to give Mesoraco his everyday catcher the second game of the doubleheader off, regardless of the situation, because this would be a good time to use him. You know, you've got the lefty on the mound, nobody's up in the pen, so they can't make a move to try to neutralize Mesoraco.
Base hit center field. Bases loaded with nobody out. The pinch hitter Chris Heisey coming up. Trouble here for Wada.
Posey, a guy who's been good to pinch throughout his major league career. Ricky Renteria and Chris Bosio commiserating in the visiting dugout. Looks like Bosio's going to head out for a chat. Not a bad pitch. Good piece of hitting by Barnhart, staying down, back, and then through the middle of the diamond on this off-speed pitch. Good line drive stroke. One in a bit of a bind here.
For Chris Bosio heading out with now Matsumoto to interpret. Key moment in the ball game for Wada. 3 on, no outs, leading 5-0.
Really getting into it because the message board is saying make noise, go crazy, get loud.
Lots of Reds on our AT&T U-verse multi-view, all with hits to start the inning. Schumacher, Cozart, Barnhart. Now the pinch batter, Chris Heisey. Low for ball 1.
5-run lead. Cubs just looking for outs. That sneaky fastball again.
Brian Schlitter is up. It's almost more of a story if he doesn't get up in a ball game. Key pitch. 1-2.
A little dart enter third. Cradled by Castillo, and they get the call. Good pitch. Yeah, you're right. Absolutely critical pitch. We've talked about that in the past. The difference between 1-2 and 2-1. Huge difference in terms of the batting average from that point going forward in an at bat.
Couldn't reel him in there. 2-2. So Wada really working up a lather here. Fairly humid tonight. And he's laboring in the 5th. Digging into that glove. For a 2-2. Swing and a miss. Strike 3.
There it is again. These red hitters are going to be just shaking their heads. But man, I thought it was on that pitch. It was right there.
Billy Hamilton walked in the first. Lined to left in the 3rd.
That deep drive last time up on pitch that was up, and he looks to me like from the right side he is more of a top hand guy and get on top of that high ball.
Outfield not very deep against him. And it's 0-1. Tigers now lead the Dodgers 12-5. That's after Justin Verlander, who's still pitching, gave up 5 in the first. They're now in the 6th. 16 hits for Detroit. That will not be a quality start for Verlander.
No.
But he might get the win.
And you said it was Ryu for the Dodgers?
Yeah, he got chased early.
5 out of 7 with the bases loaded. Early success for Hamilton in his career in these situations.
Wada's 1-1. Now 2-1.
Shorten up in the outfield for Hamilton. I'm not so sure I would be on the pull side. They hit that ball first time up. I would respect that ability to hit the ball with some authority on the pull side a little bit more, especially with the bases loaded. He is more likely to hit it in front of you than over your head.
Ball foul. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Bases loaded, 1 out. Cubs leading 5-0. All their runs coming on 3 homers.
Wada has to get through this inning to qualify for the win. That bat right here will have a lot to do with whether he gets that chance or not. Schlitter's been up, should be ready by now.
Not very deep. Schumacher tagging. He's going to stay there. Ball hits the foot of Rizzo. Here comes Schumacher. He will score. So it's 5-1 now.
Working hard with Junior Lake on making sure he throws that ball low enough where it can be cut. He does that. Rizzo doesn't handle it. You got to come and get that ball. Cheap run for the Reds. I'm still not sure exactly what happened there.
The error charged to Lake on the throw. No sac fly, no RBI.
That's a tough error. I put that on Anthony.
Yes, I would too. Well, I wouldn't. Technically, I think you have to give it to Lake, but
yeah, well, regardless of the official scoring,
right.
the responsibility and that particular play is on Anthony to go get that ball.
Strike call. Well, as it is, they have won, and if Wada can get out of it, that would be a win, a moral victory here, considering they had the bases loaded with no outs.
Biggest at bat in the ball game for him right here. A very dangerous hitter, and
out at first. Castillo picks off Barnhart. That is a huge base running mistake by Barnhart in this spot with an all-star at the plate as the Reds are trying to get back in the ball game. Wow, what a finish to the inning.
Cub fans, you have the final say. Vote for Anthony Rizzo as the final National League All-Star. Go to Cubs.com and cast your 2014 All-Star Game final vote. Send Rizzo to the All-Star Game in Minnesota. Voting ends 3 p.m. Central on Thursday.
A lot going on in that last half inning.
We're talking about the play in the middle of the diamond on the fly ball to Lake, but here's the pickoff. And these guys have conspired on a number of occasions this year. Boy, what a big play in a dangerous situation with one of the most dangerous hitters in the league. And Castillo and Rizzo team up to nail him. Good work. And then the play that's being discussed in the dugout right now, this throw from Junior Lake. Looks like Anthony's trying to let it go. He's not going to cut it, but it hits his foot. Probably should have cut it. Runner wasn't going. But the damage minimized with that pickoff.
J.J. Hoover. 2-0 on Ruggiano. 5-1 Cubs.
Saw those numbers on J.J. Hoover. A high walk rate has been his biggest problem.
The run unearned.
A lot of traffic
in the bottom of the fifth. Yep. 2-1 pitch, swing and a miss, 2-2. Got him on a breaking ball that was not really where Hoover wanted it, backed up. Got the desired result. Rizzo's got 2 homers in the set. Trying to pass Justin Morneau for the top spot in the final NL All-Star balloting. These are little things, but you know, the one thing you appreciate about Anthony, and you have to watch him every day. You talk about how he stands right on top of the plate defensively in bunting spots. Takes some courage to do that. And how many times has he swung and missed on a pitch that has hit him and he hasn't even reacted? He doesn't even wince.
No.
No elbow guard or anything.
Hey, not afraid to put himself in harm's way. I mean, he's hanging his hands right in the strike zone. And that makes it tough for a pitcher. You look in there and go, man, where do I go? Outside corner is very easy for this guy to reach. I got to try to jam him. Got to try to work him in. He seems a ton of pitches in on his hands. But he's shown the ability to clear the front side and get to that pitch. He was drifting out away from him. Again, see, there's a pitch that Holmberg's probably thinking, oh, this pitch is out on the outer part of the plate. Should be okay. He yanks it into the seats.
Drills this one out into deep left center. Hamilton on the move, will not get there. It'll one-hop the wall, and Rizzo's got a double.
How good is this swing? A two-seam fastball off the outside corner. You see number 6 there on our pitch tracks. He has no problem getting to it. It's his strength. He's actually leaking just a little bit, just pulling off, but able to keep the hands back. And again, his strength allowing him to drive that ball.
Reminder from your mobile device, text N4 to 89269 to cast your vote. for Anthony Rizzo as he tries to join Starlin Castro on the NL All-Star squad. Have we found out what Jeff Samardzija is going to do? I mean, he's going to be there.
I think he's going to wear a generic National League All-Star.
Okay.
And then
sit in the American
League dugout. Last time I read that somewhere.
They wouldn't do like the half Cubs, half A's jersey, the Cubletics.
It's probably time to make one of those up.
The Ocago Cubletics. Castro strikes out. Lost his helmet in the process. 2 down.
I heard that the wickedly talented Adele Dazeem is going to sing Star Spangled Banner at the All-Star game.
All right. You got the inside scoop.
I'm plugged in. Cardinals and the Pittsburghs are all tied up 4-4, top of the 6th in St. Louis. McCutchen and Alvarez have gone deep for Pittsburgh. Sliders and curveballs from Hoover. He throws his curveball a little bit more frequently than the slider.
Speaking of sliders, thanks for dinner.
You're welcome.
Walked across the street, had a nice meal with Ron Coomer, broke down game 1. We should have aired that. You know, it would have been a nice little
round table discussion.
Yeah. Nice note on Twitter from Will Siege pointing out the aforementioned Dontrelle Willis has signed with the Bridgeport Bluefish of the Atlantic League, rather.
Yeah, independent ball. He could go opposite of Jason Lane, who was a former outfielder and made a comeback as a pitcher. Dontrelle could really swing it.
Dontrelle Willis hit 7th for Jack McKeon. I don't know if it was on multiple occasions. But yeah, he was a terrific athlete. Willis is only 32. And spent some time with the Cubs briefly at spring training a few years ago. We wish him well. Two and two. Mike Olt. All the outs, strikeouts, double and a walk as well in the inning, but no runs. 5-1 Cubs in the 6th. Camps offer children ages 5 to 13 of all abilities the ultimate Major League experience. Join fellow teammates for a week of top-notch baseball instruction, exclusive access, and unforgettable moments. The next camp starts on July the 21st. It's offered at Harper College in Palatine. Go to Cubs.com/camps to sign up your future Cub today. Right-hander Brian Schlitter is on. Tsuyoshi Wada with a successful debut. 5 innings, 1 unearned run. And for Schlitter, got a couple of outs, gave up an infield hit in game 1 earlier today.
He and Grimm and Ramirez all worked in the first ball game. Brian only threw 10 pitches in that game.
Brian making up for lost time. He's been a busy man this year. Debuted in 2010. And finally back in the big leagues here in 2014. Dealt with some arm problems in the interim.
About 80% sinkers from Brian.
Remember, Frazier was at the plate with 2 men on in the 5th inning when Tucker Barnhart was picked off first by Wellington Castile. And that one hit into the left field corner by Frazier.
Yeah, that's one if you're Barnhart. You don't want to head back to the dugout. You don't want to make eye contact with the manager. Best chance to make some noise. A couple men aboard and Frazier up there. And a heck of a play by Castillo and Rizzo. Let's have to start fresh, and Frazier delivers a leadout double. The thing that really compounds that base running mistake is that I'm sure it came up in meeting prior to the series. Hey, be careful. Castillo likes to throw to the bases. He's already picked off 3 or 4 guys down at first base this year. Design play. You'll see the secondary lead. Rizzo breaks to the bag.
Clearly trying to hit the ball the other way. Grounds out, and it's Frazier to third. Here's Bruce. Well, I envy guys named Lou with the last name Bruce. You can have a 3-homer game or go 0 for 50, and it's going to sound the same at home. Growing up watching the Tigers, every time Lou Whitaker would bat, the announcers would say, "They're not booing, they're looing." Here they're bruising.
Lou Piniella.
Yeah.
Goose Gossage back in the day.
So make it 5-2 as Bruce grounds out, knocks in Frazier. 3-run ball game. 2 outs, bases cleared. Here's Ludwig. Left-hander Wesley Wright cranking it up in the right field bullpen. One to Ludwig. 1-2.
Slider from Schlitter. Tricked him.
A slider.
A slider.
Ground ball to Castro, gloves. Tosses to Rizzo, and the inning is over. Reds get 1. We head off to the 7th. Cubs looking for a doubleheader split, leading 5-2.
And the city continues to be the executive club at Wrigley Field. Your guests will enjoy an all-inclusive top-shelf bar, gourmet food in this spectacular high-end space with seventh-inning stretch celebrities and former Cubs players. For information, contact the premier sales team at 773-404-4200 or Cubs.com/suites. I've seen a lot of Cub fans on this trip. There are a bunch in Boston, a lot in the nation's capital, and plenty of blue here in the ballpark. We saw family on the elevator last night. Mom and Dad and a couple boys that on this odyssey to see the Cubs in every ballpark in the league. And they've got, what, 4 left, I think they told us?
Yeah, 4 National League parks left to visit. Curveball on Chris Coughlin as we get underway in the 7th. One and two. Royals and Nationals rained out. We already got a makeup date, August 4th. They had a 2.5-hour delay before calling it. So they'll head to Baltimore tomorrow. 2-2. Up the middle and through. He went up and got it. Picked up his second hit of the night and his 7th of the series.
And a big smile on his face. How do you get that one? This is a guy that's locked in. He's pitching way up and in. That's a little changeup back through the middle of the diamond.
Strike one to Barney. Coghlan keeps adding points to his batting average. Now up to 264 on the year.
Yeah, likewise with Barney, looking for his second 4-hit game of this road trip. Had a 4-hit game in Boston.
Now hitting 227. Doesn't sound like a lot, but he was very recently, the end of June, under 200.
Double in the second, infield hit in the third. How about this play?
After the game at Boston on July 1st, Darwin was at 196. With a 440 start to July will help. He's been basically playing every day since Bonifacio went on the DL. I've talked to Rick Renteria about it. You know, the way Darwin has handled this season, being about a halftime starter for the first couple of months, and now what he's done with Bonifacio out, that's going to earn him more playing time even when Emilio's back off the DL. He has made the most of his opportunity. Swing and a miss, so he's retired for the first time in this one.
Well, yeah, there was a lot of things working against him. One, the Cubs didn't score enough runs last year, and they're trying to figure out how to score more runs this year. And, you know, defensive first guy sometimes loses at bats under that scenario. Luis Valbuena got red hot, so you're going to ride him as long as possible. You want to take a good long look at Michael to see what you had there. So all those things kind of worked against Barney in terms of playing time. Now the pendulum has swung back a little bit. Bonifacio hurt. Valbuena's fallen off. Olt's got a significant number of at-bats, so it's not as important to play him every day. And Barney's been good.
Well, yeah, nothing against Bonifacio or Valbuena defensively at second, but Darwin's one of the best in the business. So when he's in there, you know you're going to get plus defense. And lately you're getting plus offense too, which is a nice bonus. Pinch hitter Nate Scherholz.
That's been a challenge for Rick Renteria from day one, and it will continue to be going forward. Just, you know, how do you allot the playing time? He doesn't have that many guys that you consider bona fide everyday players. Right now it's pretty much Rizzo, Castro, and Castillo behind the plate. So you play the matchup game, you take advantage of the left-right matchups. Put hitters in there who could handle velocity when you're facing hard throwers. You got a certain pitcher on the mound, maybe you want a better defensive team on the field. All those things factor into the decision making of the manager.
Trust us at That's the Cubs manager. Swing and a miss for strike 3. Hoover's recorded 5 outs. They've all been strikeouts.
Yeah, he broke his pattern. He was getting one every other batter. Now he's gotten them back to back. There's no feel for scorecard symmetry. That man will be fried by the end of the day. Big league manager in a split doubleheader, get to the ballpark early. All the prep work you have to do, all the decisions, all the thinking.
Slider strike to Lake. Coghlan kicked off the inning with a single. He's still at first with 2 outs. Slider, then a curve, and it's 0-2.
Yeah, might as well try to run here. Most pitchers in this situation are going to try to get Lake to chase a breaking ball. That'd be a good pitch to run on. Martin wants a high fastball because he wants to be able to throw him out. That backfired.
Guessing pass ball.
You're going to call it a wild pitch, but I would say pass ball, given where, you know, Barhart's standing up. He's got into Yogi Berra mode there.
That's where
he just whiffs, yeah.
I'm going to stick with pass ball, assuming they're going to change it.
I'm going to hold my breath until they change it, as a matter of fact.
Don't do that.
Until I get my way.
I'm going to let you do it. I've been hanging around Marty Brenneman too much. I'm telling you, man. It's been a dark day for you. Talking about the All-Star cemetery earlier.
That's one of the perks to make the All-Star team. What was the line that with Jeff? He couldn't participate, but he all honors and whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
All the benefits.
All the benefits and honors that come with it. Yeah. So
yeah.
Get to be buried in the All-Star cemetery. You know, Junior Lake struggles with spin, with breaking balls. Down. You make a mistake with it, you leave it up, he can make you pay. That's a mistake pitchers sometimes make. You know, a guy gets a reputation of not being able to handle a breaking ball, and you just get a little lazy, flip one up there. Leave it out over the plate, belly button high, he can hurt you. Unfortunately for Junior, he just hasn't happened frequently enough, and he hasn't shown the ability to lay off the good breaking pitch, the one down around and below the knees.
Foul tip, strike 3. More frustration from Junior Lake. We stretch in Cincy. Breathe, JD. 5-2. Tweet your photo to hashtag NorthsideFanPhoto for a chance to have it appear in an upcoming broadcast brought to you by AT&T.
What a cute little kid.
They have changed the wild pitch to a fast ball.
Man, now we can all breathe easy. Wesley Wright will get the bottom of the 7th. Schumacher, Cozart, Barnhart, 6, 7, 8 in the Reds' order. He's on for the 32nd time. And he's generating a little interest out there in the trade rumor mill. You see his name and James Russell. Both lefties, veteran guys having good years. Statistically, almost identical. You were pointing that out the other day. How similar their numbers are. Might have been the other day. It might have been earlier today.
2. Got some Twitter feedback on Marty Brenneman. The inside story is Marty's one of our great friends, but you may have seen on the internet recently they do some sort of in-game Twitter
ask
bit.
The booth,
yeah, they send emails or ask questions, and a fan asked the Hall of Famer during the game, "What is your biggest fear?" And he got real serious. And yes, it's been a long day, Marty. He said, my biggest fear is dying in a hotel room on the road. It's not funny, but
in the context of this in-game conversation with a fan email, it was brutally honest.
One of those surreal moments. But as we know, if you want Marty's opinion, just ask him. We'll give it to you. Not the best idea there, leadoff walk.
What a tandem for so many years here, Marty and Joe Nuxall passed away a few years back.
Oh, those guys were so much fun.
Well, look at the booth over there. It's like Pee-wee's Playhouse. They got a big bust of Elvis and kinds of crazy pictures up on the wall. Here's your Hollywood Squares moment. Brantley, Brenneman, and Coomer.
That'll be it for Wesley Wright. The right-handed hitting Zach Cozart. Like Ricky's going to give Villanueva as much time as he needs. Pitching change in the 7th. Cubs lead 5-2. has pitched out of the bullpen and as a starter. It's been a lot better, though, as a reliever.
And last time it was as a starter, forced into an emergency start in Washington after the Samardzija Hamel trade to the A's. And it did not go well. He worked 2 innings, faced 12 batters. 6 of them reached, 4 of them scored. 5 hits, a walk, 4 earned runs. His previous outing as a reliever was in Boston. He allowed 2 runs in 2 innings in that one, but up until that point, he'd been going along nicely. Yeah, huge difference between his work as a starter and a reliever this year. Second, third time around, the batting order as a starter just has now worked out for him. But as a reliever, you don't have to do that.
Set the scene for you here. Schumacher at first, nobody out. Reds have scored in each of the last 2 innings. Now within 3. And the pitch to Cozart is a strike.
Break his outings down into 15 pitch segments. So pitch 1 through 15, 16 through 30, and so on. It's starts where you get stretched out. Pitches 31 to 45. Opposing hitters are batting .500 against him.
Here it comes. Ball 4.
For walks to hitters who aren't particularly dangerous. Schumacher doesn't hit the ball out of the ballpark. Cozart, the last couple of years, had decent home run numbers. 2 years ago, hit 15. Last year, hit 12. So far this year, just a couple. Guys you typically want to be a little more aggressive with.
For a ball on Barnhart. Cubs relievers creating a situation here in the 7th.
Finding the zone usually not a problem for Villanueva.
The 1-0. Good pass at it by Barnhart. Outside corner, 2-1. Cubs scored the first 5. The Reds the previous 2, and they have 2 on with no outs. And there's Mesoraco. a pinch hitting spot. Oh boy, 3-1.
Carlos has had a couple of days off since that start. Through 58 pitches over there in D.C.
Swing and a miss. 3-2.
Barnard with one home run here with the big club. He had one at AAA Louisville.
Big pitch for Villanueva here. 3-2 on Barnhart. Here it is. Ball 4 to load him.
Self-inflicted jam here. It's for football, it'd be akin to a illegal procedure followed by a fumbled snap and a quarterback sack.
There's Rocco already with a grand slam against the Cubs this year. That was at Wrigley Field.
He has gone deep every 12.5 plate appearances this year, or 12.5 at-bats rather, the best rate in the National League among hitters with at least 125 plate appearances. He doesn't have enough to qualify among the league leaders because of a couple stints on the DL. Suffice it to say, he's really dangerous.
And a strike to start it. Wright and Villanueva have walked the bases loaded here in the 7th.
If Carlos is feeling the heat, there's no indication.
Well, nothing he can do about the walks now. He's just got to try to get Mesoraco. The pitch. On a hop backhanded by Castro. They will get 2. That's big. So they get a run. But more importantly, the Cubs get 2 outs. 5-3 now. No RBI for Mesoraco.
Absolutely a trade you'll take. Tough little hop for Castro, an off-balance flip to Barney, and the rest is easy.
Still not out of the woods. You've got Cozart at third, a run in, 2 outs in the inning. And it's Billy Hamilton. Ball 1 to Hamilton. Corner men in. Outfielders in a few steps. Trying to catch a blooper. Let's keep chipping away at this Cubs lead. At one time 5-0.
And no sense playing no doubles with Hamilton, because if he gets a single, he's likely to steal second base anyway.
Right.
Wasn't low, maybe just a little bit outside. Hamilton, a switch hitter. Way better from this side of the plate.
Change-up miss.
There's that one. Maybe high. I don't know.
3-0. Looked good.
Home plate umpire Andy Fletcher has not been hunting strikes tonight. not saying he's missed a bunch of calls. I'm just saying that most of the borderline pitches have been called ball.
There's a drive out into deep right center, way back toward the wall. Hamilton around second, on his way to third with a triple, and it's a one-run ball game. More damage done by Billy Hamilton against the Cubs.
Bases clearing triple in the ball game last night. Well, this creates a lot of anxiety because with his speed, any little misplay, any bobble, errant throw, he might circle the bases.
Chris Bosio to the mound. Walks. 3 to start this inning, and 2 of them have scored. Pedro Strop is up.
Well, 3-1 count. Challenged Hamilton, and he does have a little pop. He's hit 5 home runs. This is his 6th triple.
Triples, both standing triples. Hamilton makes it look easy. Now Frazier. Cubs clinging to a 1-run lead. Outside for a ball and a slider. The Reds bullpen's been better than the Cubs bullpen after Wada outpitched Holmberg to start the game.
Logan Andrusek in the Reds bullpen. Frazier has shown a willingness to chase in RBI situations.
On a hop, Castro's got it. Throw to first in time to keep the Cubs in the lead. A couple of nice plays defensively by Castro in the inning, but the Reds get 2 to close the gap. It's 5-4 Cubs as we head to the 8th inning.
4. Go to Cubs.com and cast your 2014 All-Star Game final vote. Send Anthony Rizzo to the All-Star Game in Minnesota. Voting ends at 3 p.m. on Thursday. That's 3 p.m. Central Time this Thursday. Anthony, one of the final 5 under consideration.
New battery, Mesoraco stays in. And it's Andrusik.
Big, tall right-hander. Right over the top. 2.2, 4.76 the ERA. He's yielded a .299 batting average, 35 hits and 28 in the third inning, 13 walks, 25 punch-outs.
I don't know if 5 runs will be enough to win this game, but it wouldn't hurt to have some more here in the final couple of innings. Cubs got 5 early and have not scored since the Alt homer in the third. What a job by J.J. Hoover. 2 innings, 2 hits, 1 walk, 6 strikeouts. Sharply hit grounder right to the Gold Glover Phillips. Luciano is out.
Yeah, this game has kind of that tortoise and hare feel to it, doesn't it? Cubs jumping out early, hitting all those home runs. Looked like it was going to be an easy win. Cubs have left 11 men on base.
What's going on here?
I think there was a video board in center field, had some lights going on that they needed to turn off. And batter's eye in the background there. Well, first look at Andrusik in this series. He hasn't been out there in about a week. Last time he was out there, it didn't go well. It was against San Diego on July 1st. Allowed 4 runs, 3 earned in a third of an inning.
Broken bat flare, right field for a base hit. Homer, double, single, and 5 trips for Rizzo.
Hit the ball in the screws his first time up for a line out. He could easily have 4 tonight.
Schumacher makes the grab. Comes aggressive here against Andrusik. 2 down.
This is Andrusik's 5th year in the league. .268 appearances, all out of the bullpen. Shiner, Texas.
Ground ball, diving stop, Cozart to second. They force Rizzo. What a play by Cozart. Probably don't hear his name enough in terms of defensive shortstops. He's a good one. And that will end the Cubs' 8th. 5-4 Chicago. MLB news and notes. Dan Jennings, the general manager of the Marlins, says Giancarlo Stanton is staying put. Some conflicting reports on whether the Cardinals want Jake Peavy. And we mentioned earlier today all the starting pitchers going to the disabled list. And also Bronson Arroyo will have Tommy John surgery.
Yeah, all those starting pitchers going on the shelf. The market just got a little more interesting for the sellers. 1-4 for Pedro. That fourth loss came Sunday in Washington. 2-1 loss. Give up a couple hits and a run. Giancarlo Stanton rumors, I guess that was born out of that whole Astro leak story. Did you see that deal? Some proprietary information that the Astros had got hacked into and leaked.
That's scary for
trade rumor.
For a lot of organizations.
Some of their notes became public.
Group single, center field. Brandon Phillips. Well, we're so technologically oriented now. I would imagine there's a lot of conversations done via texting and emails, as opposed to good old-fashioned make a phone call.
Teams keep internal logs too of conversations they've had with other teams, so they can go back to them. So even if the trade never really had any traction, it was just talked about, in the slightest way, there may be, maybe logs somewhere. Yeah, I talked to the Marlins about Stanton. They said they wanted Cozart and so and we didn't like it. They didn't like it. We moved on. Whether there was any real, sense that the deal was going to get done, I don't know. I'm guessing not. But Jennings just wanted to let his guy know he has no intention of trading him. So the Reds continue to apply pressure. Leadoff single Phillips, and here comes Bruce.
That is a strike at 96. Swing and a miss, 1-2. Jonathan Broxton along with Sam LeCure. Short lead by Phillips. Bruce with an emergency swing there, 97.
So that leads me to believe that Aroldis Chapman is not available for Game 2 of the doubleheader.
Yeah, because if
that's tied up, you would normally use your closer in that situation. To go ahead, you would always use your closer. He got the save in Game 1. He hasn't pitched a lot recently, but I know he's been battling a bit of a hamstring issue.
Trouble. Phillips makes a turn, and he's going to be sent by Steve Smith, and he'll tie the game. And Bruce with a double gets the Reds to even at 5-5.
Torres just caught the hair. All the way back from down 5 come the Reds. Just a little curvature into left field by Bruce. glove and not able to head it off. You see the kind of slice spin kick further away from him all the way into the corner. Inside out swing, this ball cutting away from Coughlin, and as it hits the ground, spins even further away from him.
Nobody out. The go-ahead run already in scoring position. Ludwig swings and misses on a slider.
So Ludwig in a similar situation yesterday, just drop a bunt down to push a runner to third base.
Looks like he wanted to knock in the go-ahead run there. Well, I know he did. Didn't look like it. He did.
Well, it may have been that he was told after, hey, we want you to try to drive that run in. Don't give yourself up. A couple of bad hacks at the stroke slider.
So Tsuyoshi Wada, who had a 5-0 lead early, went 5 innings, gave up 1 unearned run, will get a tough ND in his debut. Reds have scored now in each of the last 4 consecutive innings.
Our bullpen is much improved this year. Tough night tonight. Everybody that's come out of that pen has been charged with at least, well, they've all been charged with 1 run so far. Schlitter right, Villanueva now Stroke.
Swing and a miss. There's out number 1.
Ludwig chasing sliders initially, now tries to fight off a 2-seamer that's running way in off the plate. That's bad AB there.
Good knockdown by Castillo, keeping Bruce from getting to third for the time being. Ready. 1-1 over but low.
Izzy and Mesoraco have been used off the bench. Santiago and Pena remain. They're both switch hitters. catcher spot. Andrusik is in the 8 hole after Mesoranko pinch hit. He stayed in the ball game, batting 9th.
2-2 to Schumacher. Here it is. He got him.
Backdoor slider, number 5, clinging to the outside corner at the bottom of the knees. That time the borderline pitch does go the pitcher's way. Seems to me, for the most part tonight, that has not been the case.
Cozart 2 for 2 with a walk and a run. And a fantastic defensive play to end the top of this 8th inning.
Cozart with 2 hits tonight. Everybody else in the starting lineup with 1 for Cincinnati. Here's Pena, the switch hitter on deck.
Colton Wong just hit a game-ending homer for the Cardinals as they beat the Pirates. 5-4 the final. Right center. Who's going to get it? Ruggiano from right to end the inning. But they tie it up on the RBI double by Jay Bruce. To the 9th we go. It's 5-5. Sportsnet Central presented by GMC, the latest on NBA free agency, a look around the majors and more. See all that on Sportsnet Central tonight after Cubs post-game live only on Comcast Sportsnet. Good to see our Kelly Kroll and her family from Indianapolis enjoying the Cubs and the Reds tonight here in Cincinnati. Logan Andrusik with a scoreless 8th, and he will at least start this 9th inning facing pinch hitter Luis Valbuena.
Parra, Jumbo Diaz, and Aroldis Chapman all worked in game 1 after Johnny Cueto went 6 1/3. None of which were particularly taxed. So I'm not sure about their availability. Again, I'm guessing that Chapman, they're trying to stay away from Aroldis Chapman here tonight, or he would have been up likely in the game by now. You're careful how you use your resources on a day like today. Doubleheader, tie game late. Not sure how many innings you're going to ultimately play.
Waves at strike 1, 1-1.
Valbuena, one of a quartet of left-handed bats that are on the bench for Ricky Renteria tonight. The lefty Holmberg making the start. Cheerholtz, Baker, Valbuena, and Sweeney all on the bench.
Closer, Hector Rondon, outside, 2-2.
Cubs pen has allowed 4. Reds pen has allowed nothing.
Driven to right. Schumacher back. The leap and the catch.
A bid for extra bases. Schumacher able to retreat and haul it in.
Heartbreak for Valbuena. Would have been at least a leadoff double. Instead, 1 out. Now Coghlan. Seen too many awkward swings like that from Chris here lately. 0-2.
We'll take a little time in the group after that one.
Line in the pitch, swing and a miss. Pretty nasty.
And comes over the top with 96 and then split here. Same angle, same arm action. Very tough read for the hitter.
Jumps out ahead of Barney, 0-2. Hits in his first 3 at bats, a strikeout last time up. Go to the bottom of the 9th. The best the Cubs can hope for now, extra innings. 5-5. Cubs postgame live, presented by Blue Cross Blue Shield of Illinois, following our ball game on Comcast Sportsnet. Valbuena stays in. He plays third after hitting for Mike Alt. Here's a closer, Rondon. He's trying to save a tie.
Hard throwing Hector. He's not been out there much lately, so even though this is not typical time to use a closer, Ricky Renteria calls his name for the 33rd time.
Ryan Pena now will bat for Andrusik, who went 2 scoreless innings. Every Cub reliever has been charged with a run. Schlitter, Wright, Villanueva, Strop.
Pena 2 for 11 as a pinch hitter with the home run. Three home runs on the year. He's a switch hitter. All 3 of those long balls have come from this side. Overall 256 hitter.
Fouls out of play. So dealing with some soreness in his forearm. I'm not sure which one. Recently on the paternity list for the birth of his daughter, Isabella. Missed 2 games. From Rondon. It's 2-1.
After 26 years of age, from Venezuela.
Chop foul to first.
Yeah. He and his wife, they had a baby earlier this year.
A few days next week during the All-Star break. Spend some time with his family. Leaving today, Starlin Castro is going to bring his family to Minneapolis for the big game. Fouled off.
Two scoreless outings for Hector on the road trip. Those both in Boston. Did not work in the series in D.C. Picked up saves. Back-to-back outings against the Red Sox. Saves number 10 and 11.
Him up, shallow left, and it drops. A bloop single to start the ninth for Pena. It was up there a long time, but a long run for Coghlan, Castro, and Valbuena.
Not an easy play for anybody. Looked like Castro might have had the best angle. Valbuena peels off, and Coghlan never got there.
Now Mike Leake's going to run for Pena. Representing the game-winning run. The Reds have not led in this game. The Cubs had an early 5-0 lead. Cincinnati has back to tie it. And it'll be Mesoraco now, the catcher.
Pena doesn't run well, but it seems to me he should have been on second base on that one.
Yeah, ball was in the air a long time. Hamilton would have been at third. Swing and a miss.
Need to pop up as soon as he's out. He's kind of jogging down the line. That's just bad. That's bad baseball right there. Tie game in the 9th inning.
The 0-1 to Mesoraco, and a base hit. Left field, Leak around second. All kinds of trouble now. So Mesoraco beats Rondon again. Remember at Wrigley, he hit the grand slam off Hector. This time, a pretty big single setting up the Reds here with nobody out.
Yeah, just a confident looking hitter. Mesoraco, a guy when first time they projected to be a really good big league hitter. It took a little while for it to come, but he was turned into it.
Well, what an athlete. Mike Leake, he might be the fastest pitcher in baseball. He got from first to third in a hurry.
And if Pena had gone to second, this game's over. Leake would have scored the game-winning run. No choice but to pull the infield in here.
So I was thinking about this the other day, and unfortunately it has come to pass. With the speed of Leake and with Hamilton and all, I mean, and he's going to go talk to Steve Smith. If he gets a bunt down here, I don't know how they can defend it unless it's a bad bunt.
Yeah.
With a tag play at the plate. Would you consider walking him here? You're in a desperate spot. You're not going to turn a double play. And if you do, the winning run scores.
Right.
I mean, you're just you're praying he hits a ground ball at somebody, I guess.
Right, you hit a ground, and you know, with nobody out in the inning, it's not likely they squeeze. And they're not going to squeeze, but a little push bunt, and with Leake's athleticism, trust him to read the ball off the bat. It might be the kind of thing where Hamilton gets a good bunt down and you just eat it. You don't try to make a play. My guess is he's going to be swinging here.
Everybody in. And what Rondon needs is a strikeout. That gives him some options. Broke his bat. The ball's going to drop. Fair. Game over. Didn't look like that ball was going to land fair, but he kept it inside the line, and he's mobbed by his teammates. A broken bat game winner.
Maybe the toughest loss of the year. Having lost 4 in a row and having a big lead early to let it get away. This one really stings.
What a strange night for a bullpen that had been really good. Schlitter, Wright, Villanueva, Strop, Rondon, all charged each with 1 run.
Yeah, in the 7th inning, 3 consecutive walks to get things started. That's what allowed the Reds to creep back in the game. They ultimately scored 2 in that inning. And scored in every inning from the 5th on after the Cubs had that seemingly comfortable early lead.
So our GMC player of the game, it's got to be Billy Hamilton. He's been the player of the series to this point for the Reds. They've won the first 3 and have now sent the Cubs to their 5th consecutive loss after 4 straight wins to start this road trip. 6-5 the final tonight, and a heartbreaking loss. So the Cubs have been swept now in all 3 doubleheaders they've played. So for JD and our entire crew, led by John Walsh, Dave Turner, Keon Dolan-Shahi, Len Casper from Cincinnati, your final. Reds 6, Cubs 5. We're back on the air with you on CSN Friday, 2:30 for the pregame coverage as the Cubs host the Atlanta Braves to start the final series of the first half. We are not done yet. Up next, Blue Cross Blue Shield Cubs post-game live. Stay tuned.